everyone, this is Lock Lover. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. If you're not, thanks for stopping by. Maybe consider subscribing. However, this is a quick set smart key. I would like to let you know right off the bat it is not a Generation 3. I believe it is a Generation 2. The reason that I believe it is a 2 is because all of the ones were pulled off of the market when they redeveloped this lock into the Generation 2. There's also two versions of the Generation 2 you may or may not be aware of. The version with the sidebar that falls out, which is what this one is, and one that is held in with two little black clips, and the plastic top is different. However, that does not matter because they are identical. The only one that is different is the Generation 3, which you have to make a pick basically to fit down inside of here and tension the sidebar and set all of the wafers to the sidebar before you can turn the core. If you turn the core, you can see there's a little slop in this. If you turn the core like this, it takes all of the tension off, and you cannot find a binder. So anyhow, here we go. I'm going to change the angle so it is beneficial for the both of us here, and I'm going to start out and see what we get. See, we got a little bit of core movement there. And there we go. Kind of similar picking to a American Lock 1100 as Super Llama kind of defined it. You know, you kind of go one little click at a time. You can fill the little clicks in there, or the way that Chris Aarons had explained. I don't know if I can show it to you now that it's picked, but the pins are springy. So you can see where my pick is springy is when the pin is set. Sorry about the furnace kicking on. I will turn that off really quick, and I will get this lock taken apart so we can take a look inside. I'm going to reset the lock. Sometimes I've found when picking this lock that the key will not work afterwards, and I think it's the slop inside in one of the wafers that is on this side of the plug skips a tooth onto I believe it is pin 1 or pin 2. The key pin has a little tooth that sticks off of it, and it kind of like jumps the rack, I guess you'd call it. I know I called it teeth over here, but it's basically like a rack. It's several serrations. If I quit running my gums here and get it taken apart, it'll be a lot easier to explain. I'll move my vise out of the way here. Try to move the camera without making you sick. See if it's going to stay focused for us. Okay. Don't need any tools for this. If you got man fingers, I guess you want to call it, some working hands. If not, take your little screwdriver, pry that off, take that off, and you can remove this part out of the body. As you can see, there's still another part in there that is removable. I'll take that out in a second. Set this down here. This is what I was talking about, where the sidebar can fall out. The other version has like two little black clips going across the top of it. We'll set that right here. There's two little springs here. I'm not going to take the springs out. I am going to lift this off very carefully so do not drop the teeth. Rotate it around this way. Probably be a better way of doing it. Okay, I'm going to set this right here. I'm going to turn this around. And you can see that Here are your wafers, if you want to call them that. They have these really tiny teeth on them. If I get the right angle, I may give you a close-up picture of that. The camera does not focus well up close. I think you can see the slight serrations. There we go. It's going in and out of focus. There you go. Those slight serrations right there line up with these little teeth. Let me lift one up, one of these key pins up. I don't know if you can see it or not. As a matter of fact, let's just stick the key in it. You can see the little teeth that stick off of it that are right here. Those fit into the grooves on these wafers. That's what sets the key pin to these wafers, is that little tooth onto whatever corresponding notch. And then if you have the right key in it, all these notches here on the bottom, these little cutouts line up. As you can see, I can move, say move this one up or down, and that little gate is not lined up for the tool. Here's the tool. Actually, the tool doesn't go all the way in there, but anyhow, let me try to flip this over without dropping everything. So you can see through there, and if those aren't lined up, the sidebar can't drop through it. I'm not going to pop all these off of here and put them in a pinning tray, just because it's just too much of a hassle. They're so tiny. Where did the plug go? Right here. In the same way, I could pop this plastic cap off, and then these will come out with their spring. But there's no reason to do that, because you can see all of the teeth are on there. When I first got this lock, I had no idea how to pick it. I took it apart. I thought I was buying a Gen 3, just because I figured, you know, new generation, it's been a few years, I figured they'd all be 3s. However, they're not. I do have Generation 3 coming. The uptown and downtown models are the Gen 3. There are also 2 other models, but I think they're labeled as such for a different country. I'm not 100% sure on the names on those, but you can get those also online if you look hard enough. But if you want the Gen 3, you want the uptown and the downtown model. If you buy one of these used and it comes with a key, or it does not come with a key, and you want to key it, obviously you have to have the key. I'll show you that procedure in a second. This was the key that we used to open the lock. This is the key that did not work, and I will put this key in here. As you can see, it raises those pins to a different height. Take it back out. Show you with the other key what the height is on them. Okay, so we'll put this key in it. So it's a different bitting. It's basically the exact opposite of the other bitting. So I'm going to leave that in there. Then I'm going to take this part. And what I need to do is take my pick. I want to line up all of these gates here on the bottom Want to make those lined up with this little canal there. Get all those straight across there to where this little galley here is completely open where we can drag our pick through it. I'm going to hold all those wafers, and I'm going to basically try to fold this in there without moving anything. Okay, that seemed to go as planned. And if this thing can slide back and forth, you've got it. And I did not. What I see here is I've got two that slid up, so I'm going to release pressure with my thumb. I'm going to push them back down if I can. I want to get that. Now I got one left right there. That second one. I need to move him down in there. A little bit of pressure there. I have to pry it back. Put my thumb down here. Take a little more tension off of it. Basically, you want to look, and you want all of them even height. Oop, went too far with him. Shoving him clear up out of there. I'm making it harder than it should be. Lift up a little bit right there. Make it a little easier. Okay, I can put that back on there. You want that to slide back and forth. And then insert it back into the lock. I see dropped it once again. Moving just a little bit. There we go. Get that thing rocking and a rolling there. And that's how you would rekey it without the factory tool. You can see it just by pulling that out there, about lost all of my wafers. But that's basically the SmartKey. One other thing I found that you can do with this lock is, believe it or not, you can key it to a blank, which is pretty crazy. Let me see here. I'll take my blank, put him in here, and I'll take my piece here. I done made sure all my gates are lined up. Put him on there. Make sure it slides. There we go. See, it slid all the way over. I didn't quite have the other one in there quite right. I'll take my sidebar. Sidebar only go in one way. I'll insert him back into the lock. Put my ring on there. Now it works with a blank. I heard something drop in there. May or may not still. There we go. Still works. And if you want to rekey it, all you do is you stick it in, turn it, take your little tool, push it in, pull your key out, put the key in you want to key it to, turn it back. Now it's keyed to this key. And the one other thing I wanted to show you was, I'll go ahead real quick and pop that back off. Pull this guy out of there. Set him to the side. What I didn't show you was this whole thing comes out of there. That's the other part of the housing that this goes in. So the part that I just took out stays stationary inside that housing. And this has a piece right up in here that holds that sidebar still while you insert your tool to rekey it. It's a pretty neat little concept. I mean, we all know the vulnerabilities of forcing it open, but I mean, it's a neat concept, but it's also a bad concept. Bad in way of you know, taking a little bit of work away from the locksmith, rekey jobs. But that's the SmartKey. Stick around, and hopefully soon I'll have a Generation 3 in here, and I can get the Generation 3 on camera. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.